Good evening, good evening, distinguished engineers. I want to join my welcome to that of our membership secretary, Engineer Adeleye Adeyemi. Thank you all for taking time to join us this evening for the NSE Manchester May technical session and general meeting. I'm really very impressed with the turnout, even though we've had some messages about difficulty in joining, but I hope they will all be able to join us. I want to warmly welcome our esteemed guest speaker, Professor Wasiu Popoola, as he takes us through the topic of navigating academic career in the present day. Professor Wasiu is a professor of communication engineering at the University of Edinburgh in the United Kingdom. Our technical secretary will take the detailed bio of Professor Wasiu before he commences his lecture. I'm certain today's topic is of interest both to engineers and non-engineers, and especially those within the academic community. And it's very impressive that we're having people showing interest from all around the globe, not just from Nigeria and the UK. So thank you, Professor Popoola, for this. I also want to thank our technical team led by Dr. Kevin Ano and Engineer Ahmed Mohamed for coming up with this quarter's theme around scholarship and postgraduate fellowship. This is very apt, considering the fact that we have a large academic community in Manchester here. I'm not sure how it is for around Scotland, but I think we do have quite a lot of universities around here. So for those joining us for the very first time, the Nigeria Society of Engineers is the umbrella organization for the engineering profession in Nigeria. The society looks after the professional needs of members through well-structured programs and regular interactions among different cadre of membership, enhancing high professional standard and ethical practices. NSE Manchester branch is one of the 3 branches in the United Kingdom. So if you live or work in the north of England or the Midlands or mainland Europe, you are most warmly welcome to join us. For example, our membership secretary, Engineer Adeleye Adeyemi, is based in Germany, and our assistant technical secretary is also based in Germany. So yeah, you are most welcome to join us, no matter where you are based. So just a few announcements before we make a start. In case you missed it last month, in line with MOPSA, that's the Margaret Oguntala Presidential Strategic Agenda, we now have an International Mobility Committee. And the members of those committee are Professor Akilu Yunusa Kaltungo as the chairman, Engineer Dr. Chukuma Ogbonaya, who have been very, very active on that committee, Engineer Tai Fadigwe Davids, Dr. Olamide Jogmola, Dr. Ibrahim Sanusi, and Engineer Dr. Adeyanju Teslim Balogun. So if you are new within the UK or you are in Nigeria listening to me and you are in the process of relocating, those are your contacts. We also have contacts on our website. So if you're not able to reach them, you could also reach out to me or any of the other ESCOs. We'll be able to point you in their direction. So the International Mobility Committee will assist those relocating from Nigeria either to US or to Saudi Arabia. Those are the areas where we have NSE branches at the moment. I know that we keep expanding. And also in Canada, we also have a new formed branch in Alberta, Canada. So if you are relocating to any of those places, just know that you will be able to get some assistance from NSE. Those are part of your NSE benefits, courtesy of our new president. Also, can you pencil down Tuesday, the 16th of July, 2024, which is the first public lecture in honor of our patron, Engineer Ademola Isaac Olorunfemi. We aim for the topic to be, well, the topic is around food security. You would have seen that in the messages circulated so far. It will also be a great event. We already have confirmation from the keynote speaker. Am I being heard?
Loud and clear.
Okay, all right. I just want to be sure I'm not speaking to, I want to be sure I'm not speaking to myself. Okay, yeah, so it will be a great event. We already have confirmation from our keynote speaker, Farmer Kola Adeniji, and also from our honoree, Engineer Demola Olorunfemi, Councillor Professor Erima Bell, a UK politician, and also from our acting ambassador, Ambassador Cyprian Tessahin. That's the Nigerian ambassador to the United Kingdom. We just this morning as well, we know the governor of Plateau State, His Excellency Caleb Manessa Muftwang, will be able to participate. And our president, of course, will be around. That's Engineer Aina Margaret Oguntala, FNSC, Erelu Worldwide, and also some ESCOs of the national, NSE National, will be able to join us. So the planning committee for this year's event is a tried and tested committee, because I think quite a lot of those members did a sterling job last year. So we have them on the screen there, ably led by Engineer Dr. Habila Momijon, and supported by the esteemed Engineer Dr. Lillian Iheoku Meresotu, Engineer Adeyemi Adeleya, our membership secretary, Engineer Dr. Chukuma Ogbonaya, Dr. Ibrahim Sanusi, our publicity secretary, Engineer Oladipo Tobias, our treasurer, and Engineer Louis Efe, and Professor Obux will also be a co-chair to that committee, and I will be there to support and also as an observer. So thank you very much for all those who have volunteered to serve. I know it was a difficult job last year, but I think with the success we achieved, everyone was pleased with the hard work and the sacrifice. And we know this year would be even much better. I don't know if Engineer Dr. Abila Momijon is online just to respond to that. Let me see. Looks like he's not online. Okay. Do we have, I know Engineer Deyemi has spoken. Is there any other member of the committee on, just to respond on behalf of that committee? Although they've started some work, but we believe this is more of the official inauguration of that committee. Do we have doctors? Okay, Engineer Dr. Teslim, Adeyaju Teslim Balogun, please, can you respond on behalf of the committee? Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. You're on mute.
Sorry, please, can you come again?
Yeah, so I was saying we already have the members of the committee for this year's public lecture. So I just wanted a response from the committee. I've called on the chairman, Dr. Abila, but he doesn't seem to be online. Can you respond on behalf of the committee, please?
Sorry, I'm not sure. The only committee I know I'm part of is the diaspora one. I don't know. I'm not aware of this the Powerhouse Stakeholders Events Committee. So
Okay, yeah. So you're on the see.
Uh,
Sorry, my
Chairman,
International
can I
Mobility
respond?
Committee
yes,
one.
please respond. Sorry
Yes.
for the mix-up. Sorry for the
That's what I
mix-up.
was.
Sorry for the mix-up. My error there. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Chukuma, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Chairman. Just to say that last year's zone was something else. It was an exceptional event, a networking event. So when you hear public lecture, I think Chairman is beyond just public lecture. So I think that is an opportunity for us to come together, see ourselves, to put face to some names you may not have heard, and also to meet some people. So the events have been it's an opportunity to really come and network. So I would encourage us to reserve the date so that that day you can make your way to the venue. Thank you so much. So we'll be giving updates as we enter into June, so that you can know how we are progressing with the plan. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Engineer Dr. Chukwumogbonaya, for coming to the rescue there, and apologies for my error there and for putting you on the spot, Dr. Adeyanju. Okay. Yeah. So moving on, just to quickly also announce, we'll be having a technical visit on the 15th. For those of you who are able to make that date, which is a date to the public lecture. By then we would have had the president around. The president will be arriving on the 14th. So she will be with us for the period of this event, and I believe our patron as well. But I'll give him some time to respond to that later. So our patron as well has confirmed and will be around. So it's going to be a very big event, especially because we don't all live around Manchester, just like every other branch in Nigeria, where you have people living within a very small community. Last year, I know people came all the way from Newcastle. You know, we have our members all in those areas, and we're able to see all those members. So it's a good opportunity to network, and it's also a good opportunity to progress both your career and your business or whatever you are looking into. We want to make sure that everyone is able to benefit. Okay, yes. So thank you to all the members of this committee. And I believe even though you've started some work, we now declare this committee inaugurated. Okay, so the event will be in threefold, as I've mentioned, but we'll put more information on our platform. So there will be a technical visit on the 15th, and this is going to be to Energy House at the University of Salford. We'll also get one more addition to that. So we'll keep you updated on what those visits will be. And so then on the 16th, we're going to have the public lecture in the afternoon, and then we're going to have the dinner at night. The public lecture is going to be a free event to attend for all members of the public, as the name goes, but the dinner is going to be reserved for a token of, there will be a payment to be made. We'll try to keep the prices very low for registered members of NSE Manchester branch and fully paid up members. So we'll try and keep the prices down. The price will be separate from those who are not members of NSE. So we'll be looking forward to your contribution and sacrifice to make that work. So please just keep yourself up to date with what's happening. So please also try and register as soon as you can, because we want to make sure we're able to plan much better compared to the last minute rush which we had last year. And the only way you can help us with that is by, first of all, signifying interest that you want to come. So when you signify interest in telling us, especially for the dinner. We need to, there'll be a cap on the number. So the earlier you tell us, then we can then get the payments from you later. So the first thing will be for you to signify interest. Then for the public lecture, even though it's free, but we'll need people to still register because we need to know who is coming to the venue. Yeah, so if you would also like to sponsor or advertise or send a goodwill message, kindly let either myself or Dr. Abila know about that. Or if you know anybody as well that would like to sponsor or give a goodwill message, you can also bring this event to their attention. So please follow us on our social media handles, on LinkedIn, on X, and also have a catch up on YouTube if you've missed any of our previous sessions. Dr. Sanusi is also working on launching a podcast. So there'll be more information on that on our platforms. So quite a lot is going on. Follow us on our handles. So at this point, I want to quickly recognize our patron who is online, Engineer Ademola Olorunfemi, just for a very quick word before we proceed.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. Mr. Chairman, I don't know if the president is here.
No, she's not.
She's not. Okay. Okay. Mr. Chairman, guest speaker. Is she here now?
I was the one that accepted her, so I'm checking through the list.
Okay, that looks like she's dropped off.
Okay, might be network.
Yeah, maybe she's dropped off. Yeah.
So I don't waste too much time. Might you go? Okay. In any case, since he was there, Madam President, our chairman, guest speaker, very distinguished colleagues. It's a pleasure being here. I'm always very glad to be part of the branch that is making things happen and setting new standards, reaching to greater heights every time. Each of the technical sessions since inception, some 3 going to 4 years ago, has been improving day in, day out, different scope. There is no doubt this is going to be quite beneficial, and I'm sure we would love to share the proceedings, the slides, to a larger audience, including our students and other colleagues all over. Congratulations, branch chairman, well done. And again, I thank you for the rare honor. I'm not taking it for granted, and I look forward to seeing everyone very soon. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, our distinguished patron and a past president of the Nigeria Society of Engineers. So I want to recognize all national ESCOs present and also all fellows present, as well as my ESCO members and members of NSE Manchester branch. So at this point, I will yield to our technical secretary, Dr. Kevin Ano, to recite the guest speaker's bio and anchor the question and answer session. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Kelvin Ano is my name, and let me start by, can I bring this up? Let me share my screen shortly. Okay. Let me start by recognizing the support of University of Bolton on this session. I really wish to thank them because they support us with this platform that we are using. Thank you very much, University of Bolton. And let me also talk about briefly the bio of our guest speaker, which I think we are quite privileged to have him on this platform today. Professor Wasiu Popoola is a chair or holds a chair of communication engineering in the School of Engineering, University of Edinburgh, where he is also a deputy director of learning and teaching. In 2022, he was awarded Royal Academy of Engineering Leavenhulme Trust Research Fellowship for his research in optical wireless communications. He has published over 200 articles on the subject of communications engineering, including 2 editions of an acclaimed book, Optical Wireless Communications, System and Channel Modeling. That's the one that we talked about on the flyer. Professor Popoola is also a science communicator appearing in science festivals and on BBC Radio 5 Live Science program. He is a fellow of the Institute of Engineering Technology, FIET, fellow of the Higher Education Academy, FHEAR, and associate editor of the IEEE Access Journal. He has been invited to talk at various conferences, including the 2016 IEEE Photonic Science Society's Summer Topicals. We do have other profiles of Professor Popoola, and I would allow him to do some of those as we go on. Professor Popoola will be talking to us today on navigating academic career in the present day. Professor Wasiu Popoola, the platform is yours.
Right. Thank you so much, Kelvin, and thanks so much, NSE Manchester branch, and a very big thank you to everybody on this call today and those that might be catching up on the talk at a later date. It's my pleasure to be here today to talk to everyone, in particular to share my experience within the academia and more importantly, for us to talk to one another to benefit from each other. So I'm really, really happy, to be here. I will start by trying to share my screen. So if you just bear with me one moment, I want to believe my screen is sharing. If not, please do let me know. But I want to believe my screen is sharing now. Kelvin, is that the case?
We can see your screen.
Yeah, go ahead. It's quite clear enough, sir.
Okay, so thank you so much. As has been mentioned, so today we're just going to have a discussion about my experience navigating the academic career, particularly in the UK. There's a little bit of emphasis on present day because academia in the past, I'm sure you all agree, or any career for that matter, is quite different in the days that we're living now. And I've also put academia in bracket just to say that what I'll be talking about is kind of broad and general. And there will be some specific aspects that will be focused on academia. But I'm hoping and I believe that some of the things that we'll be talking about will be applicable to other career as well. Okay. So some general housekeeping, if you are not speaking, it might be beneficial to mute yourself and, disable the video so that, we can all have a pleasant conversation on this platform. So thank you to everybody for that. I think we have a chat box for questions. So the plan is we take some questions at the end of the discussion. My plan is to make this not so long so that we can have a lot more opportunity to interact with ourselves. So that is the plan for the talk. So from the beginning, just to set
Sorry, sir. Sorry. I don't know if we can still hear you.
Okay, can you
no.
hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Yeah, back now, yes.
Yeah, okay, back. Sorry. I said I was going to set the tone, for this talk. And that is to say the scope of what I'll be talking about. The first thing I want to mention is this is not a talk about a step-by-step guide about how to be successful or what do I have to do to be successful. That is not the essence of this talk. There are more qualified people on that topic than myself. So I will steer away from that to something that I think I'm qualified and have experience to talk about. And that is on my reflection of about 20 years in UK academia. What have I seen? What have I learned in that 20-year period up till now? But more importantly, I think this talk is a reminder to myself, perhaps a younger self of my, a younger self of mine. And I want to believe you see bits of it that might be relevant or applicable to yourself. And I'm also going to benefit from this as much as you are, because it's a reminder to myself. It's a note that I'm also going to keep and be going back to from time to time. So that is my plan for today. So therefore, I've divided the talk into about 3 parts. So the first part will be on belief. And the second one will be to be aware of certain things. And finally, I will talk about to be prepared. You probably can guess what each theme or each aspect we'll be talking about. But those are the 3 areas that I want to focus on, okay? But before then, as you've heard, my brief bio is there on a linear scale. Right from the left-hand side, you can say I did a national diploma at Federal Poly Lao. That's my home institution. So I did, national diploma there in 93. People of certain age will remember that in 93, that was some turbulent time in Nigerian history. So that was quite interesting. And I did my bachelor's from OAU, Ile-Ife, finished in 2002, Youth Corps 2003, and then I moved to the UK to do my master's and then PhD, and now I'm at Edinburgh University. Although the chart I presented is quite linear, I'm sure you all agree with me that life is never, linear. So there are going to be ups and downs and twists and turns along the way. That is the same for everybody, okay? And in particular, if you see between 93, after my bachelor's degree, after my ND, and then till when I finished my first degree, there was a kind of a 10-year gap. It doesn't take 10 years to get a first degree, but life challenges will come and then you have to deal with it. So it took, getting to university was quite a tough challenge, particularly for me at the early stage of my life. So that is my career up till today. I need to also talk about some prerequisites to what I will be talking about. And that is, the first one is about hard work. And hard work is a function. This is an engineering society. So you permit me to use some mathematical equations or mathematical notations. You see, hard work is a function of commitment and drive. You need to be committed to something. You need to have the drive. You need to have the zeal to pursue what you have committed to. And if you combine all of those together, you get your hard work. All right? There is a kind of axiom to that. In other words, something that is given. And that is my assumption is that everybody has got some talent. Everybody has got some ability. That is a given, that we all have some talent and ability. But how do you make the most of that talent or ability? That is where the hard work comes in. Therefore, the effect of hard work is actually a compound interest, you see what I mean, on the talent that we all have. So I come up with this equation to say the productivity, whatever that might mean in our individual situation. It could be output, it could be efficiency, whatever that productivity means in our peculiar circumstance. Actually, the effect of hard work is a compound interest on the talent. Note here that the hard work is the base, right? While time is the exponent. So you need to invest time. You get a lot more out of it. But your hard work is absolutely crucial, to maximize what you get from the talent. In fact, hard work trumps talent when talent doesn't work hard enough. Okay, so that is my prerequisite. The prerequisite in this sense means that I'm assuming that we're all hardworking, definitely. And we know that to get more done or to achieve more, we need to work hard to exploit our talent and put in the time that is required to do so. So, belief, what do I mean by belief? What should we believe in? Belief here, I'm not talking about religious belief. I'm talking about to believe in oneself. You have to believe in thyself. Whatever you want to achieve in life, whatever that might mean, be it to get a degree, to get a fellowship, to get a job, to get promotion, you have to believe in yourself. Most importantly, you have to believe in the best version of yourself, not trying to be someone else, but to be the best that you can be for yourself. That is crucial. You also have to remember, for you to have come this far, to have achieved whatever you have today, whatever status that you occupy today, there must be something great about you that has earned you that particular position. Something has earned you your first degree. You didn't pick it up on the street. You must have worked hard for that degree. You must have something that has given you your current position. Therefore, you need to believe in your plan. You need to believe in yourself that you've got this innate ability and you are ready to put in the hard work. Believe in your end goal, that you've got a plan and stick by it. But while we do all of that, there's a very, very fine line between believing in yourself and being arrogant. So I make mention here of the AK ratio. That is the relationship between knowledge and arrogance, and they are inversely proportional. So the more you know, the less arrogant you are likely to become. Okay, so please bear that in mind. While you believe in yourself, make sure and try not to become arrogant. As I've mentioned, this is a reminder to myself. So you will see me oftentimes using the second person pronoun, talking to myself in the second person. And I believe we all find one or two things to pick up there. Arrogance is something that we should all try to avoid. A popular saying says, arrogance leads a man to hell, but it is pride that will keep him there. So both arrogance and pride, let's try to do away with them. And you can do that with knowledge. You acquire more knowledge, then you become a bit less arrogant. So that is the first thing, to believe in thyself. After all, to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. So says Socrates. So you really have to believe in yourself. Let's assume that I now believe in myself. I believe in my ability. I'm ready to put in the hard work. What next? Right? And that will take me to the next theme of my talk. And that is to be aware. You've got the hard work, you've got the knowledge, you've got the ability. What next? You have to be aware of certain things. And here I will go through a number of things that I think will be beneficial to myself and to every one of us for us to be aware of them in no particular order. So the first one I have here is you need to be aware of the need to build your capital, to build your worth. Capital here, I am not talking about economic capital. It could be, but not necessarily economic capital. I am talking about what distinguishes you from the next person. Know your worth. If you know your worth, it will make you less vulnerable. If needed, whatever the situation you are in, you can walk away because you know you have something about you that is unique that you can take elsewhere. So we need to invest time early on to build your worth. That could be skills, it could be expertise, it could be ability, it could be learning a particular software, you name it. You need to invest time to build your worth. To become an expert, the rule of thumb is you need minimum 10,000 hours of hard work, to optimize your talent. To become an expert on a particular thing, on a particular profession, you need at least 10,000 hours. And that has been proven to be valid across all disciplines or different walks of life. In academia, it's about 10 years to become an expert, to get to, if you like, to the top of the career in academia. It takes about 10 years, plus PhD. Some people might take less than 10 years. There are geniuses around that will take less than that, but I'm not one of them. So the rule of thumb is about 10 years of hard work that will help to do that. The second point I want to mention about to be aware is you need to be aware of your place. Know your place. Recognize that the world does not revolve around you. Why? That teaches thou humility. That makes you recognize that you are not alone in this cosmos. Okay? You probably a small cog, maybe an important one for that matter, in a very big organization. Therefore, recognize that and be humble and treat other people with respect. You are not at the center of the universe. And also remember, a note to myself, that no one is indispensable. The show will always go on, even if you're not there. Sun will rise the next day, even if you drop dead. Know all of these things to keep you humble in whatever you've done, in whatever you've achieved in life. Doing all of that means you can achieve a lot more and you go even further in life. Okay, so that's point number 2 on the be aware. I move on. Be aware of the need to avoid the calamity of conformity. What do I mean by that? Is do not follow the crowd. You need to channel your own path, because X has done A, B, C, and D, and they achieved a particular result. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You've got to find your own path in life. So please avoid the calamity of conformity. Follow the crowd and you shall not be distinguished. You need to follow your own path, not necessarily the crowd. In academia, independence is critical. You need to establish your own independence. That means do not follow the crowd. It is that independence that will earn you, personal awards in academia, things like fellowship or personal grants. If you cannot prove that you're independent in academia, forget it. Forget, it's not going to happen. Okay, we can talk more about this independent in academia if it's of interest to anyone when it comes to question and answer. And do not be a habitual moaner. Life is such that there's always going to be something to complain about. It doesn't matter your situation. Complaining doesn't solve the problem in most cases. You need to do something about it. You really have to take action about whatever it is that you're moaning about. It might be to change your job. It might be to be in your job and actually be that change agent in wherever you are. So please remember that we shouldn't cultivate the habit of being a habitual moaner. Still on the topic of things to be aware of, you need to be aware of your limitations. Yes, I've got the drive. Yes, I've got the commitment. Yes, I've got some talent endowed on me. Yes, I've got the hard work. But there are certain things that will limit what I can do. There are certain things that will limit my ability to spend so much time on a particular problem. It could be family commitments. It could be my health needs. It could be other things. You need to be aware. Don't drive yourself till you drop dead. It's not worth it. So you just have to be aware of my limitations. Within those limitations, what can I achieve? How can I optimize my productivity within those limitations? Also, be aware of your ego. Yes, we've all achieved great things in life. There are things we are proud of in our individual lives, but let not that ego get in the way. I give an example. You work in an organization, perhaps you are the chief engineer and you have technicians in the same department as you. You have secretaries, you have, people opening the gates for you when you go in. Treat them with respect. You see, the people you meet on the way up, treat them with respect, because when you're way down, you are still going to meet them. So that is very valuable in terms of, not letting your ego get in the way. One other example I give here in my own workplace is we have people in the lab, technicians, that help us with our teaching and whatever we need. Predominantly, their work is teaching focused. They assist students, they make things for them. But occasionally, we do ask them for help with our research as well. But if you have not been very nice to them or work well with them, they can decline to help you with your research. So what we tend to do, particularly in my group, is to make sure that we have a very good rapport with the technicians, even though they are not research technicians, they are teaching technicians. But having a good rapport with them and not, let them feel as if, oh, these are academics and these are non-academics. That's nothing like that. We treat ourselves like colleagues. And when we then go to them for help with what we need to do in our research, willingly they will support us. And that way we get a lot more done than treating them with a bit of, disregard. So that is very important. Commitment and drive will demand sacrifice. What are you willing to give? You have limitations. Of all of those limitations, what are you willing to give? What are you willing to sacrifice? Work-life balance is going to challenge that. It is going to be a challenging thing. If you have to move up, if you have to grow, if you have to ascend your career, whatever that career path might be, there are going to be challenges, particularly with balancing work and your life. And the perfect environment will never arise. Do not wait until, oh, I need to be in this particular organization. I need to be in a university that is #1 in the world before I do X, Y, and Z. That's never going to happen. It doesn't work that way. Wherever you find yourself, make the most of what you have. You can then use that to leverage the next opportunity. You can then use that to prove that if given more resources, you even achieve more. So please, whatever environment you find yourself, make the most of it. The perfect environment is never going to arise. We can talk about personal experience on each and every one of these bullet points when we come to question and answer. We've got a lot of experience that I have acquired in each one of these, and I'm sure other members of the panel, here, or committee members might be able to share some of their own experiences too. But the perfect environment is a myth. It's never going to happen. Do what you can with what you have, particularly maximize your output with the little that you might have now. This might be familiar, so I'm going to pause here, and I just want, maybe a member of the committee to tell me, what does this slide, what we are seeing on this slide, what does it mean? Can anybody guess? Dr. Kelvin?
Yes, Professor.
Yes, what is this?
So, well, it's very common on LinkedIn. Trying
Exactly.
to print yourself.
Exactly. So be aware of social media. That is the next one. You can see, I'm sure you've seen these things, on LinkedIn or everywhere. Everybody has something to celebrate. Everybody has got something to share and something to, flaunt to the rest of the world. Okay? Be aware of the peril of social media. And to my mind, I put those peril as, I call them the 3 Ds: the deluge, the distraction, and the delusion of social media. Number one, deluge. There's just so much of it. There's so much post out there that to look through in itself is a full-time job. So be aware of that, because it's going to distract you. It's going to take you away from those things that matter. And it can be delusional. It is not always what it seems. Don't be disturbed. Don't feel pressured about the seemingly endless glowing posts on social media. Believe in thyself. Believe in your plan. At times, some of these social media posts glowing, we congratulate those that are celebrating their success. There's no ill feeling there. Absolutely not. But what I'm saying here is that at times, if care is not taken, looking at those things too much can make you feel inadequate in yourself. And that is not great for you to get to where you want to be, for you to navigate your particular career. You really have to make sure you believe in yourself and believe in your plan. Don't just change your own career path because XYZ said they've just been promoted, to a particular position in the organization. Believe in yourself and believe in your plan. Often, social media posts will go like this: I'm proud to, I'm so thrilled to announce, I'm pleased to, I'm honored, I'm humbled. And when they use the word I'm humbled, actually what follows is usually not humbling at all. It's something really, really extravagant that people often say. So just be aware that it's not always like that. Don't feel pressure. Don't undermine your own plan by focusing too much on what people celebrate on social media. Also be aware not to be the man with a hammer, the so-called man with a hammer syndrome. Well, the man with the hammer, he sees every problem as a nail, even though when it's quite glaring that using a hammer is not a solution at all. He wants to dig a hole, he uses the hammer. He wants to cook, he uses the hammer. He's got a screw with a flat head that a screwdriver is the best tool. No, he's going to use the hammer. Every problem, that the man with the hammer sees is a nail, and just hammer, he hammers it on. That's what he does. But do not be that man with the hammer to whom every problem is a nail. What do I mean by that? Well, not every problem that I've got is because I'm Black. Not every challenge that I face in my career is because of my gender or my religion or this or that. I've got to accept that life doesn't work, at times it doesn't work like that. I've got to face challenges to grow my personality, to develop my character. I've got to accept that, okay? And try not to be segregated or dissociate yourself from the herd. Try to be with the group. Do not overindulge in narrow associations or societies. I give an example here. There are so many Black societies around in the UK and beyond. But don't go to the very, very, very minute and narrow of all of that. Don't join, for example, the Black Electronic Engineer Academic Society in Hull in the north of the UK. That is too narrow. There's very little benefit you get from that. You understand? And that is why I like the Nigerian sort of engineer, because it's quite broad-based and it encompasses all engineering, and it's a broad church for everyone. But don't go to these very narrow, extremely narrow associations. That is you taking yourself away from the herd. And when opportunities come, you might not know because you are too narrow, you are too far away from people that might be able to help. Tough moments will come. And when they do, take a break, regroup, recalibrate, and go again. And repeat as we progress in life. Rejections will happen no matter what you do. I often tell members of my research group, if you haven't tried enough, then you will never get any rejection. If you try hard enough, you will get rejections. If you apply enough to grants, some of them will get rejected. If you write enough research papers, some of them will get rejected. It is not the end of the world. There are about 8 billion of us in the world. Certainly, there's not enough opportunities to go around. Opportunities are far and few in between. Anyone that you get, you've got to make sure you make it count and make the most of it. Be aware of the need for trusted mentors. Those are the people you can rely on that wouldn't be judgmental. They can advise, they will listen to you. More important, they give you a shoulder to cry on if you need to cry. I've been there myself, particularly around I think it was around 2018. You see, when I first joined as a Chancellor's Fellow and / lecturer at the time, I applied for my first grant. I got my grant. Everything was good. I applied for another small grant. I got that grant. Beginner's luck, right? Everything fell in place. I thought, yeah, I've mastered this. This is the way to go. Next, I applied for the next one, rejected. Second one, rejected. Third one, rejected. Next paper, rejected. You're like, what's going on? Everything is falling apart. What do I do here? I had to go to my mentor. Say, hey, a very senior colleague, I can't cope. This is getting terrible. What do I do? I'm losing it. I can't even go to the university anymore because I look as if I've failed. I've come on a very high promise. I've been very productive. All of a sudden, within a year, 3 grants rejected. 2 papers, journal papers rejected. What do I do? How am I going to go forward? Remember, I said, when tough moments come, take a break, regroup, and recalibrate. Luckily, my mentor said, okay, come over, come and spend some time in my group. I left the university completely. Take a break. Over there, I had to regroup, clear my head completely, recalibrate, remap out my strategy, replan what I want to do next. And guess what? The years that follow, a lot more success came. because I don't want to carry that burden all along. Purge all of those disappointments and move on by taking a break from it. It might not be a physical break from your career or from where you are based. It could just be a temporary break of what you are working on. Pause it, leave it, and do something else, and then come back to it a bit later. That might help to have a clear view of which way to go. Be aware of cognitive dissonance. What do I mean by cognitive dissonance? Well, you do have conflict in your mind and in your thoughts, and at times they might be very difficult to balance. To illustrate, I give an example, the typical one, and this is about the fox and the sweet grapes. It goes like this. You see, on a lovely afternoon, this fox is very hungry, extremely hungry, in the woods, and the fox could see some grapes on the tree. Those grapes are juicy. They are definitely ripe and waiting to be picked. So the fox said, yes, this is it. I'm going to get these grapes. Okay. I desire those juicy grapes. I must get it because I'm very hungry. I'm really, really hungry. I need to. And the fox tried and tried to get the grapes. He jumped and jumped and jumped so many times to get the grapes. After so many failed attempts, what happens to the fox? What do you think the fox is going to do? I'm sure you know the story. What did the fox do? Anyone? I don't want to call on Kevin again. Maybe Chairman will tell us. Mr. Chairman, what do you think the fox is going to do?
Could it be taking the grapes that are much closer to the ground?
Okay, that's a very good answer. Kevin?
Sorry, I don't know, Professor.
Well, so the fox has been jumping and jumping so many times and he couldn't get a grape. Well, you know what he did? He walked away. He said, who wants the sour grapes anyway? The grapes are not even ripe. The grapes are sour. I'm actually not that hungry. It's okay. I'll go find something else. You see, that is cognitive dissonance. At the beginning, you wanted that thing so badly. You put so much effort into it. I must get this promotion. I've been working so hard. I compiled all my documents, my evidence, put everything to the committee. I must get it. And they said, oh, sorry, this year, we're not going to recommend for promotion. I'm like, well, I don't bloody care anyway. It's fine. I'm happy with my position. It doesn't really matter. What did they give me? Just a few, a few pounds or whatever. The tax is going to take everything. So it doesn't matter. I'm happy. It's fine. That is cognitive dissonance. Whenever disappointment happens, accept it. Own the disappointment as much as you own the success, no matter how big, no matter how small. Do not deny yourself a learning or growing opportunity. I will accept I've failed. I want to understand why I've failed. I want to understand what I've done wrong such that I can improve that next time. It is not so much about failing. It's about how I get back, from that failure. It's like if I want to fail, I want to fail successfully so that I can make a success out of my failure the next time around. So that is the message here about, cognitive dissonance. If it doesn't happen, accept it hasn't happened and try to understand why and see what we can do to make it happen the next time round. Also, because we're in the UK, we are aware, some of us are in the UK, some of us are outside, be aware of dispiriting headlines and statistics, particularly about people of color or the minority group, wherever you are in your society. For example, in the UK, they say, oh, Black academics give up on research funding. Oh, there's just 1% of UK professors that are Black. Okay. Oh, Black students aren't getting PhD studentships, and so on and so forth. You're going to get these headlines. I call them dispiriting. What should we do? Should we give in? Of course not. In fact, it's almost like ignoring those statistics and stick to your plan. Again, believe in thyself and stick to your plan. If you are one of those statistics, that's life. There are things being done. Get involved in things to make, in initiatives to make things better, not sulking about these statistics. We really have to get involved. For example, UKRI, the research funding body in the UK, we saw the statistics. I got in touch with them. I say, hey, what should we do? I work with them. They gave me some research grant to organize workshops for early career researchers, including Black and minority groups. And I've been doing that for more than 4 or 5 years now, since 2018, I believe, that I've been doing it, to run workshop for early career. And in that workshop, representatives from this research body will come and give talks on how to apply for the funding to make your proposal more competitive and network and things like that. We don't just sit back and believe, well, the odds against me anyway. No, you really have to go out there and make the difference for yourself. Okay. Another example is this: if you look at number of Blacks winning research grants or things like that, if you look at any of these numbers, say the Black are the very, very tiny number. You will need a magnifying glass to see the numbers. For example, here about applications, very tiny compared to the rest of the demographic. If you look at the one on this side, how many Black principal investigator, that is, they have a research grant from research council. Very tiny. You can see the numbers here. They're extremely small. If you look at this other one too, very small, compared to other demographics. It's really, really, really disheartening and dispiriting. But we are not going to give in. That is it. You just have to keep at it and believe in thyself. Believe in your plan. And that is my message about be aware of these things that are around you. Again, a note to myself, a reminder to myself that I'll be going back to from time to time. Be prepared. Now I believe in myself. Now I'm aware of things that are within my control and things that perhaps are not within my control. Then be prepared. Prepared for what? Well, be prepared to seize the opportunity when it arises. You have to grab that opportunity. I give this illustration. I like it so much. Like your worth, your capital, the things that you got to sell, your skill, your ability, the knowledge that you have. Let that be the lion. And let this antelope or whatever it is be the opportunity, the prey that the lion wants to hunt. Lion will sit down there quietly, motionless, and wait for the prey to come. As soon as the prey is there in sight and the ground is clear, the lion leaps and jumps at it. You see what I mean? So getting our what and the capital is the lion. And then we wait for the prey, the opportunity. But wait not in vain for one. If it doesn't come on time, you create one opportunity. What do I need to achieve in the next phase of my career? What do I need for that promotion that I badly want? What do I need for that next job? What do I need to get that PhD scholarship? I'm desperate for it. What do I need to do? Well, I give 2 examples that I've got in my own career. One, when I first joined Edinburgh as a Chancellor's Fellow, junior academic, I happened to be in a meeting with some senior academics. At the time, they were professors more established than I was at the time. And then we were talking about research ideas and grants. So we discussed a plan, and the plan was, let's apply for what we call a program grant, about £6 million to do collaborative research. After the meeting, I went back to my office. I was waiting. Yes, with our grade, they're going to get in touch with me. Yes, I'm so happy. I was, very excited, hoping they will get in touch. They will get in touch. Week 1, week 2, week 3, nothing. Nobody got in touch. The next time I heard about it, they got the grant, £6 million. I started looking over my shoulder. I went to ask, what happened? You didn't call me. He said, well, you didn't get back to us. You didn't make the effort to come back to us. So we thought we are not interested. You see, I did not follow on the opportunity, even though I had something to contribute, but I didn't follow on. So I missed out on that 6 million. Learning from such experience, last year, there was a call for a big research grant. Everybody was scrambling to get involved. I said, well, I'm not going to wait around for somebody to knock on my door. What I did, I started contacting people. I said, hey, there's this grant. I'm trying to put a bid together. Will you be part of my own consortium? I'm planning this. I connect people. Guess what? Some of them, a lot more established, than myself, said, well, I'm putting in a bid as well. If you don't mind, let's discuss and combine our bid together. You see, I'm in. And that's exactly what I did. It's okay, let's sit together. We combine together, and I joined their bid. I got my own share, for my group. For the first grant that we did, that first one, we got 2 million. And guess what? The follow on to that one, we got 12 million. But if I didn't take that initiative, if I didn't go for that opportunity to create one myself, people will not invite you at times. You invite yourself. You take the initiative, invite people, and then see what happens. Okay, so it's really, really important to have your worth, have something. In academia, we say track record. It's important. Get your track record sorted, and then seize the opportunity when it comes. But don't wait in vain for one. Okay? And as part of being prepared, I like this animal lion so much that a lion might want a very big prey. If that doesn't happen, it will go for a smaller one. So if what you are waiting for is not there, make do with smaller gains to start with. Make do with a medium gain and prove yourself with those ones so that when the big ones come, you can have examples to say, well, I've done this, though they are small, but that's an experience for you to see that I have the track record. Okay? Leverage your own ability. At times, your own individual ability might not be enough. Work as a team. So, at times, a lion will go hunt solo. At times, they collaborate as a family. At times, they work as a network, to make sure they get what they want. Emphasis is on the value that you bring to the network, not because you are my friend, not because you are from Nigeria as me, not because we are in the same university. No, it's about what value are you going to add, to the project. In other words, what is your worth? What is your capital? Seize the opportunity with your worth. Channel your own course. Don't conform. Be aware of the calamity of conformity. Find your own worth to maximize your growth. That is very important. When they say, oh, we need somebody that knows this particular piece of software, the first name should be your name, right? Within your organization. And then they say, okay, let's go to this X, Y, and Z and talk to them because they are the expert in this. That way, you maximize your growth. And then you can walk away if you think it's not working for you because you got something to take with you. Be prepared to dream and to dare and to aspire. Stick to your plan. Typically, I will say 3-year plan, medium term or short term 3-year plan. After that 3-year time, evaluate, refine, and then go again. Take on a role that you fancy rather than you wait around and then you are lumbered with the things that you don't want to do. In academia, that is very common. You wait around, you don't put yourself forward, you don't do things. Before you know it, they give you things that nobody wants to do. And usually they are time sinks. They will take so much of your time that you don't even have time to breathe. So therefore, do not wait for that to happen. Take on the things that you think you actually don't mind. Okay, take advantage of supports that are available across your organization. In the UK, we have a lot of support when it comes to grant writing, training, workshop, and so on and so forth. Some of them might be internal, but there are a lot that are also external as well that will help in making sure that you get what you want with your hard work and with your talent. When you get the opportunity to give talks like we're doing now, or seminars, or even in your teaching, there are 3 P's to follow. You prep, you practice, you polish, and then you repeat as many times as time permits you. Okay? Approach every talk. Approach your teaching. Approach every paper you write, every white paper you write in your organization, every training you give in your workplace. Approach that particular training as if it defines you, as if it's going to define your career. You approach it with everything you've got. You see, whatever is worth doing excellently well. Second best is not going to cut it. You have to give your best ability to everything you have had an opportunity to do. In my career as a postdoc, I've had a chance to stand in, for my supervisor at the time, and that created opportunities for me. We can go into that in question and answer, but that will create opportunity because you give your best. People see you and see the best version of you, every time you go out to give a lecture, to teach, or to write a paper. Decline invitations that you think you haven't got time to deliver on. or you know you can't do the best job, just decline. That is more honorable than to go there and leave a bad impression of yourself. And be prepared for the unrealistic demands of the present day career. There are so many things that will get thrown at you from all directions. It doesn't matter which job you are doing. Majority of what we have been asked to do, they're unrealistic. I give an example of academia because that is the one I know. You see, as an academic today, particularly in the UK, you're tasked to be excellent in bringing in research grants in your research. You bring research funding, you train PhD students, you get fellowship, you publish quality papers, okay, as an academic. That's a lot of responsibility. You do excellent teaching. At times, you teach multiple courses. You teach large courses. You do tutorials. You do seminar, office hours, feedback, reference letters, all of this. Huge undertaking. And that is the emphasis on present day. Some years ago, it wasn't like that. Okay? Some 20, 30 years ago, it was never like that. On top of your teaching, on top of your research, you do knowledge exchange and outreach. You talk to the public, you give public talk, you appear on radio, you appear on science festival, you do industrial engagement, you work with companies, you spin out a company, you file patent, you talk to the press, you do all of that. And then you do research and then you do teaching. Plus, you have to be a good citizen and do a lot of admin. You do mentoring, you do editorial jobs, you serve on committees, you write reference letters, you review, you moderate, you sit on panels. All of these things and still be, an excellent researcher, an excellent teacher, and somebody that works with the industry. That's a lot of undertaking from one person, and you have to be excellent in all of them. You can see where the challenges come from. And remember, there's nothing like multitasking. It's a myth. People can switch tasks, but to multitask is a myth. You understand? You can have task switching, but not necessarily multitasking. It's a myth. All right. So to do all of that is quite a challenge. And yes, it can be indeed overwhelming. It is indeed overwhelming. And that is why you need to believe in yourself, in your own plan to deal with all of the things and make sure we all avoid the temptation, the delusion of the social media. It's hard as it is without adding that extra pressure from the social media dimension. To summarize, I've talked about 3 broad themes: to believe in oneself and one's plan, to be aware of the need to build thy capital, your worth, and to be prepared to seize the opportunity, but wait not in vain. You might have to create one or facilitate your own opportunity. I've deliberately left the talk broad because of the audience that we are. I know the audience is going to be broad-based, so that is why I've let the topics very broad. And finally, I'll conclude by saying whatever path you choose to follow, whatever you do next, right? Choose not to be toxic. Choose to be happy with yourself. Choose to be content with your own achievements. That inner contentment will spur you on to greater things rather than moaning and complaining about everything and all things around you. With that, I say thank you so much for your attention. It's been a great pleasure to talk to everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Popoola.
Thank you, Professor, sir.
My pleasure.
This, wonderful presentation. Ladies and gentlemen who are in the platform, please, if you can post your questions in the chat area. And the prof is going to do well to address those questions. Thank you very much, Professor. If I might take you back, let me start with my own question. To, I think that 3rd, 4th slide, where you give us timelines.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, here, please. And then, because if we look at majority of the people coming from our background, some have gone through the ND route.
Yeah.
and or some HND.
Yeah.
And then some, I don't know, might find it difficult trying to navigate
Okay.
up to the top, becoming engineers, in quote, full engineers, becoming professors, getting scholarships and all of that. Do you see the ND or the HND route a limitation to reaching to the peak?
No, I don't. And I'll tell you why. Shall I?
Please go ahead, sir.
Right. So I'll give a very illustrative example of my situation. So when I left school in 89, right? So when I left high school in 1989, at the time we're doing school start, right? And at the time they introduced 6334 to Nigerian educational system. I think it was Professor Wasiu. Okay. And my dad, being a teacher himself, said, well, you're not going to go with an old qualification. You have to go back to school and take the new SSCE, the 6334. So I had to go back to high school, spend an extra year to get the 6334 equivalent after finishing in 89. You understand? So that meant I couldn't go to any higher institution. And when I finished in 1990, to get to university was a struggle. You understand? I start from my JAM, I had, great scores. But because of the way Nigeria is, in terms of going to, there were no private universities at the time, maybe one or two. I doubt any, maybe one. It was extremely impossible to get in without knowing somebody in the university I wanted to go to. I was targeting Unilag, OAU, and Ibadan. I just couldn't get in. So I settled for the Polytechnic in my hometown to do my national diploma. You understand? I got in 91. We're supposed to finish promptly early 93 or whatever, and then there was this strike in Nigeria. When I finished, my plan was, okay, I'll spend 2 years to do my diploma, and then I will take direct entry, as it was called then, into university. You go, instead of starting from year 1, you will now start from year 2. So by my calculation, I've only lost about a year because I'll start in year 2 anyway. So ND, I thought it was not a bad choice. How wrong was I? I waited for at least 7 years, I think about 5 years to get into university. Why? I finished my ND in flying colors. I was gunning for direct entry. The same problem I had earlier was the same issue I was facing. I didn't know anybody. I would be the only tiny little boy that could hardly speak up, going to departments across Nigeria, and they were like, who are you? What do you want? And nobody was ready to listen to me. So I couldn't get in. But on one of those trips, I went to Ife and I was glued. I said, no, it has to be this university or nothing else. So I waited 5 years, for me to get into Ife. But why the ND? Back to your question, the ND helped me because while I was doing my national diploma, I learned a lot. Going back to building your worth, I was working with the technicians. I learned how to fix electronic gadgets. I learned how to take things apart. I was taking radios apart, TVs apart, put them together again, fix them. I learned to know those components and how to work with them. I was very good with soldering. I learned a lot of handy stuff. You understand? So when I got to university, that handy skill that I learned, plus the fact that I had waited that long, became my motivation. That's number one. Number two, when I finally started my own PhD, my supervisor, the first thing he said was, well, we've done enough simulations. We've done enough theoretical analysis. I want you to go into that lab and start building stuff. The lab was empty. It was cold. There was nothing. You see that you do it, but that's the end of your PhD. You understand? And because of those skills that I acquired during my ND, plus the hard work and working with technicians, not thinking those technicians were below, myself at the time. And that helped me a great deal up until the work I'm doing now. You understand? That greatly helped me. If nothing else, it developed my character. You understand? It gave you a different life experience that you then leverage as you go along. So I don't think it's a limitation, not at all, not one bit.
Thank you very much, Professor. If somebody is looking at your profile,
yeah,
ideally, one they're looking at is somebody that went to big universities, high-ranking universities, and Now, going by what you are saying, background and other situations and all this curve that you just, the green curve that you just drawn might be realistic to some people. And then they never had opportunity to go to these big universities.
Yes.
Do they have opportunity of traveling abroad, assuming they are in Nigeria?
Yeah.
And do they have opportunity of becoming professors in big universities?
Yeah.
Or any other university, given your experience?
I think they do. I think it's all about what I mentioned earlier about whatever opportunity you've got, whatever situation you find yourself, make the most of that opportunity because you just never know what is lurking around. Okay. I did my PhD in a very small university. Northumbria University, when I got there, was quite small. Very, very small. A lot of people in the UK, when they were talking about at the time, it's changed completely now. When they're talking about it, they wouldn't mention Northumbria. So when for example, to give you an example, when I joined the group in Northumbria University, and the group had been going for decades, the group did not have a single IEEE journal, none when I joined, zero. I am not bragging and I'm not making it up. You can look it up. Zero in my research group, there was none. So I spoke to my supervisor, I said, well, we need to be a lot more ambitious with what we do. Let's target this journal. I'm happy to put in everything I've got. And that was what we did. I got the first IEEE journal for that group at that time. And guess what? When an opportunity became available, when I finished my PhD at Northumbria, they gave me 2 jobs, which I declined. And I said, I wanted to test myself elsewhere. I came to Edinburgh to interview. And the first question was like, where's Northumbria? Why did you go to Northumbria? I said, well, I had a scholarship to school in Northumbria, but forget the university, deal with the person. And that was the end of Northumbria. You see what I mean? So you can actually dissociate yourself from whether small or big and talk about the person, what you've got to offer. I think that trumps wherever you are. There are a lot of people with Nobel Prize that are not in the top universities in the world. Definitely. There are a lot of people doing great without even degrees. You see what I mean? So it's not about going to Harvard doesn't make you smart. I'm sure we all know that. Working at Edinburgh doesn't make you a great professor. And working at Northumbria doesn't make you a poor academic as well. It's about the individual. It's about the person. That would be my response to that.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. And if you are within the audience and you still want to ask your question, could you please post it in the chat area? Let me go back to the one that you mentioned about the habitual mourner.
Yes.
And like you said, everybody, if you do try to write papers, for example, you must have been rejected at least once.
Yeah.
And if you have attempted scholarships, for example, you must have been rejected at some point. And also the same thing with fellowships. So looking at this type of thing, do you think they target a particular color of people?
Well, I wouldn't say yes, and I wouldn't say no, because it's very difficult to generalize. In some instances, it might be the case that going through the first screening might work against, certain people. I can't rule that out. Okay. But what I do know is that in majority of the ones I've been part of, excellence trumps everything else. Be it in scholarship. Almost every couple of years, I recruit students on scholarship within my research group. And I've had to recruit Europeans, I've had to recruit Africans, Nigerians, non-Nigerians. Excellence trumps everything, as far as I know, within my own control. In certain instances, yes, there might be things like that they see your name and automatically you get rejected. That's unfortunate, but it does happen. I've got to acknowledge that. Now, what do you do if such happens? Well, it depends on the scholarship you're applying for. In some cases, you might ask for certain feedback on, oh, can I get some feedback on my application? Can I see the interview note, for example? Or what do you think I need to improve on, to improve my chance, or things like that. But yeah.
Okay. You just mentioned something that you recruit, sometimes you recruit, or you recruit across the globe.
Yes.
And now, assuming, because there are some who are just finishing their first degree or who are about finishing their first degree that joined this session, and then they want to find out what exactly do you look for when you recruit these people? And then in terms of does your call for scholarship, is it generally open to everybody, or are there some times that it is peculiar to people who meet a certain domestic criteria?
Okay, so I think I'll take that one first. Now, it depends on the source of the grant. Okay, certain grants, at times, we have restriction. For example, in the past, we had some grant that would say you only recruit, well, you only cover the fees of people that are UK or Europeans, because international fees are a lot more expensive. So that might happen. But at times you get fundings or grants or studentships that are open. The one that I've got, most of them are usually, open to anyone, international. The reason is very simple. Across the entire UK, almost all engineering departments have PhD students, have very few home PhD students. International students are in the majority. So saying you want to restrict yourself to UK students only is shooting yourself in the foot. You're not going to get anybody. That's the truth. Okay. So therefore, the grant will fight. We struggle a lot to make sure we get one that is open, to everyone as much as possible. A caveat to that is at times I do get some scholarship or some project with the defense arm of the UK that is very, quite guided. So you can't do anything. It's got to be for a particular, you need to carry a UK passport to work on defense related. So we do that. So that's fine. So, but the ones that are open is purely on merit. What are we looking for? Well, the minimum we specify is if you are going to do a PhD, for example, with first degree, the minimum has to be a first class. That is not debatable. It has to be a very good first class. The first class does not guarantee admission. It does not guarantee that you get the scholarship. It gives you an opportunity to be heard. It gives you an opportunity for somebody to look at your CV. If you made the first class, I'm going to look at your CV very carefully. And then we can invite for interview. It also depends on your performance there. We want to see, at times, some people might just fall a bit short. If they have masters, yes, let's speak to you. You understand? Let's have a conversation. That interview plus your academic background, yes, those are the two things that we take very, very, very seriously in awarding scholarship within my group and indeed within my institute as well.
I'm sorry, I was muted. Just the very last one before I take the questions that are on the chat area. Does age, do you consider age, or does age affect any scholarship, fellowship, or collaboration opportunity?
The short answer is no. Age plays no part at all. Now, when it comes to personal fellowships that you apply for yourself, say, for example, I'm a researcher, I want to apply for a fellowship to build my team. Age has zero effect on that. If you are doing a collaborative work with other academics, age has nothing to do with it. If you are applying for a PhD studentship, there might be not necessarily age, but there might be some other factors that people look at. For example, if the studentship you've got or the studentship on offer is for one person, is enough for one person. If you say you're of a certain age and you've got dependent, that might be an issue. Not because you can't do the work, but because the money that's available might not be sufficient to make you concentrate on the work that you want to do. So it's not the age, but it's about the money we've got is for one person, and it's not enough for 2 or 3 or 4 to live on. And we want you to focus on the work that you want to do. Remember, PhD studentships are not free lunches. You get the studentship in return for what you want to do, for the contributions you want to make, for the papers that you want to write, for the ideas that you want to help execute. So that's what it's there for. Okay, so we have to be sure that whoever we appoint delivers. So it's in the benefit of the investigator, the PI, to appoint a capable hand, as much as it's the benefit of the person getting scholarship as well, if that makes sense.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much, sir. There was another question on they are trying to get to the UK, but despite opportunity they've been given, that they've not been able to get their transcript. So is there a way that university in the UK or abroad liaises with university in Nigeria to solve this bottleneck problem?
Well, in my experience, as a member of the learning and teaching team in Edinburgh, I think the answer is no, because you got to see what is in it for the UK university to be talking to your university in Nigeria. There's just no reason for them to do it. If you're applying for a PhD studentship, it is the responsibility of the applicant to make sure all the necessary supporting documents are made available within the deadline. It is not the responsibility of the university to chase your home institution. No, they wouldn't do it. There's just no reason to do it. There's no incentive to do that. That said, what you can do is, I had the same situation when I finished from IFE. Everything was paper-based. You have to go and sit in the registry. You go there very early in the morning and you are there with them till 5 p.m. until somebody carries your file somewhere and then prints it out for you. It's got to be done. It's not pleasant, but if that is what it takes for you to get your transcript, please do it. If you think that is a barrier to you getting that admission that you so much desire, then go do it. Go to the institution, go there very early, go to the registry, pay the necessary fee, to get your transcript. Once you get a copy, you can photocopy and keep to yourself. And then you send to institutions. We accept, copies from you for as long as they are stamped and they've got the appropriate signatures. They can verify later, but to get you through the initial screening, you need a copy. There's no two ways about it.
Okay. Please, my question is, I'm a young female engineer from Nigeria. I just finished my master's degree on control engineering. How do I get mentorship?
Right. So I think the first thing would be if you get in touch with the Nigerian Society of Engineers, whether the Manchester branch or any branch that is, closer to home for you, I think within that association, they might have the appropriate person to mentor you. It also depends on what you want. What kind of a mentor do you need? Are you thinking of, academic mentor? Are you thinking of somebody in the workplace? So you really have to define what mentor you need. And then I think if you talk to your professional body, they might be able to help in pairing up with a suitable mentor. I think that would be the first, but you really have to define what you want in a mentor to start with.
Do you have postdoc opportunities, or can you recommend us for one, or venue where we can get one?
Well, we do have postdoc opportunity within my group and within the wider institute. Now, the easiest place to find, because of the UK labor law, all positions have to be advertised, and the place that all universities advertise is jobs.ac.uk. You get all academic jobs there, including PhD studentships. Okay, so jobs.ac.uk, that is the place to go to find all academic positions. I've got to say, if you have an engineering PhD in the UK of today and you want to do a postdoc, I think you are in luck. I sincerely do, because there's so many positions for postdoc and people are, scrambling around to find good hands to fill their labs. So if that is your situation, I would strongly recommend you spend some time on jobs.ac.uk. Now, there's a caveat to that. And that is where I started my talk from. You need to have something about yourself. It's not just because I've got a PhD, then you must employ me. No, you need to have the worth. You need to have your own capital. What are you going to add to that particular group that you want to join? That has to come clear. But if you're in that situation, I think you are in luck. Plenty of opportunities for postdoc.
I've been working in the industry for 10 years now. And I want to move to the academia. I want to do my PhD.
Okay.
What opportunity do I have, and what do you advise?
Right. It depends on where the person is based. That might affect the kind of opportunity that is available. So I'm going to assume, let's assume the person is in the UK. If you're working for about 10 years, that's a lot of experience, right? One option might be to consider a part-time PhD. There's nothing wrong about it. You can keep your job and still do a part-time PhD. The only thing is it's going to take a bit longer, typically twice as a regular PhD. Okay, that is one opportunity. To get a PhD scholarship for somebody with 10-year industry experience is possible, but it's not very common. Now, one thing to explore in that case would be what we call engineering doctorate. In other words, you might be doing a PhD within your workplace. You understand? You'll be solving a problem that is relevant to the workplace. You understand? And then at the end of that research, then you get your PhD. So that is engineering doctorate, if that is available wherever that person is. I think those are the options there. If you're desperate to become an academic, that's fantastic, because in academia, we always value people with experience in the industry. It is not a negative, not at all. In fact, it is a huge plus to have industry experience. You might start, one option might be to explore what we call industry fellowship. So at times you can apply for some fellowship. For example, you can apply with We Academy of Engineering or the We Society, right? So you can apply as somebody in the industry, and then you will be seconded to a university to spend some time in the as a research a professor or something. So you can do that, and you all be paid for from that fellowship. That is possible. That is one way. The other way is to collaborate with a university that is closer to home, wherever that person might be, and you do get opportunities to become professors of practice. Those ones are available. In other words, somebody with huge experience in the industry, they come to the university and bring that experience to bear. You might start by giving, what's it called? You give invited lectures, or you can give master classes and so on and so forth. And then you work with that institution to apply for a fellowship. That would then mean you can come in to teach and do some research. So those are some opportunities that are, open to the individual.
Thank you, sir. I have an opportunity, if I have an opportunity to choose from moving to a higher role in another organization, for example, mechanical manager, and remaining in my current organization, mechanical engineer, to accept a raise, which should be more of importance to me, sir? I would love to ask Verb. Olushiyan, are you here?
Yes, good evening, sir. I'm in a meeting, please. Sorry, I'm not doing the research, sir. I'm rather listen, sir. I'm in a meeting.
Sorry, we struggle to hear you, sir. It's really seriously breaking. Well, please, if we can just go by the question he has at the moment. I think he wants to move to a higher role.
Right.
To accept a pay rise.
Yep.
Which one do you think you should accept?
Well, I guess that has to be a personal decision. If you don't go for the higher role, why do you not want to go for the higher role? Why do you want to remain in the lower one? I don't quite understand the question quite well, but I think it will be back to your individual ambition and your plan. What do you want for yourself? If you stay in the lower role, what do you want to get from that? If you go to the higher role, you see a dead-end position, you need to evaluate that, okay, once you get to this mechanical engineer or manager role, what comes next? Are you happy to do that? I think we need to know a bit more, but I'm not entirely clear, the premise of what the premise of that question is.
Okay, let's wait for the guy. Maybe he might come back. Which among electrical electronics engineering fields do you recommend someone to do a bachelor level that align with fourth industrial revolution?
Oh, very good. So if you are doing a bachelor's, my advice remains the same, and go as broad as possible. Okay, I will strongly discourage you narrowing down too soon. Don't specialize too early, because the world is changing very, very rapidly. By the time you finish your degree in 4 or 5 years' time, who knows? So I would strongly recommend you go for something that is broad-based. You can do electronic and electrical engineering. That's fantastic. You could do electronic engineering and computer science. That's wonderful. You could do computer engineering with electronics. That's broad enough. But don't go do, for example, information engineering as an example, or, artificial intelligence engineering. That is too narrow, and that is too soon to narrow down. So go broad-based at first. That would be my recommendation.
All right. Engineer Akani Christopher.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Ask your question.
Okay, thank you, sir. My name is Engineer Akani Christopher, based in Nigeria, specializing in building engineering services. I'm a young graduate in Nigeria. I just concluded my master's degree in power and machine engineering. And I've been known here back in the Nigerian system that it's very hard to be coupled into the system of the industry or get a good compensation of the work we have been done so far in the country. And we are not recognized, yet they are using the quacks around the cities. And we so much have intention to move out to a place, a country that can pay us our worth, that we can deliver. Is there any opportunity both in academia and industry over there you can recommend us? Okay, you can come over to this point, we will help you, assist you, secure an employment over there, and we give out what we have gained so far in academic to industries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Engineer Christopher. That's a very good question. We are also, myself, and I'm sure almost everybody on the committee for NSE, we are also employees here. You understand? So the opportunities around here are advertised widely for everybody to apply for and compete. Remember, the mindset has to be you are a global citizen. If you've got what it takes and you go through the selection process, perhaps you stand a chance. What I can recommend, I've just, for example, for academic jobs, I gave the website earlier. That is the place to go for academic jobs in the UK. And the website again is jobs.ac.uk. Every institution in the UK advertises there.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir.
Dr. Kevin, are you there?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Okay. I am a student in Nigeria studying a PhD in electronic and communication engineering. My research and thesis is on multimedia technology, video streaming and video compression using deep learning. I need mentorship Oh, I think he's mentioned this already. Anet Bassi, he has spoken about mentorship. So you have to go through the branch, and then the branch can, advise you correctly. This one says, can I apply for a PhD? I had MSc, HND, and then MSc. Is it possible for me to have a PhD opportunity in the UK?
I wouldn't say no, that is not possible, but it's going to be a challenge if I'm being honest. The first degree that we ask for, at least in Edinburgh, the first degree we ask for is your bachelor's. Master's is an additional degree. For example, if you've got a first class in your bachelor's degree, you actually don't need your master's. But if you've got anything lower than first class, then it's okay. Have you got any additional qualification? So without the BSc or BEng, I think it's going to be a tall order, at least in Edinburgh University. What you can do, however, is you can spend a year or thereabout to convert. I know there's some universities that do conversion from HND to BSc, and then you go on to do your research. You understand? I wouldn't give up, but you might, there might be just one additional hurdle to scale before you can proceed to a PhD.
When you interview postdocs, what do you actually look for, sir?
Right. So it depends on the project that we've got at hand. I'm looking for somebody that has got the skill that they can apply onto the project from day one. You understand? We need to remember postdoc is not like doing your bachelor's or master's or even PhD. It's not somewhere where you say, oh, I want to learn. Postdoc is where you want to actually contribute and learn to become independent researcher yourself. So I want somebody to prove to me they've got the skills that will help my project. When you go for an interview or you fill application, please remember, make it less about yourself. It's about the project you're applying to. What can you offer to that project? That is what is going to excite whoever is going to review your application. Not because, oh, I want to learn from your group. I want to support what you do. I want you to I want to be a professor. So working in your group will make me become a professor. Yes, we understand that, but what can you do to the group? First of all, what have you got to offer that would then enable you, to achieve your own end goal? I think that is very important. And I cannot emphasize enough what I've been saying about your worth. You need to develop your worth. You need to build that capital. And that's what you have to sell all the time. It's as simple as that. You really have to sell that capital, that I can do this. I can contribute this. I can achieve this. Give me the opportunity. Give me the chance.
Okay.
All right, sir. Thank you. This is interesting. Do you advise one to take a KTP associate research role or continue to pursue a PhD studentship opportunity, considering that one will want to do a PhD in the future?
Right. So if you have the two of them at hand, then that's a very good position to be in. You consider the KTP, you consider the PhD, and draw your pros and cons table. That's fine. But for example, the ambition is to get a PhD, but the PhD is not there. What I've got is a KTP. For those that might not know, KTP is Knowledge Transfer Partnership. You work on a project that is of interest to a company. You spend some time in the company working on it, and you spend some time in the university with your academic supervisor, but it's not a PhD. So that is great. It's a great way to get your foot in the door if the PhD is what you want. In most cases, in my experience, over 90% of people that do KTP get employed by the company. That's great. So if you get in, you can then tell your employer that, hey, you can see what we've done on this KTP. Let's proceed to a PhD. In most cases, I think they will listen to that. And as I mentioned earlier, you can then do engineering doctorate. You keep the job and you get the PhD. So you get the best of both words. In the UK currently, if that is a situation, I think you're in a very good position. There are a lot of CDTs, we call them Center for Doctoral Training. They want industrial partnership. So that is prime, for a CDT. If that's what you want to do, and that is the only one open to you, I would say take the KTP and start talking to CDT, Center for Doctoral Training, in your own area, so you can combine the benefit of both worlds.
Is it possible to decouple the criteria for going into Edinburgh with other universities? Because I think it is for some other universities might still be able to accept candidates who do not have a first class. Is it possible to emphasize that, sir?
Yes, it is. Some universities will accept 2-1 from bachelor's degree to do a PhD. Edinburgh will also accept less than first class, but will also ask, in that situation, it's okay, have you got an additional qualification? Okay, so it's an extra one, so that's fine. But some universities might accept, for example, 2-1 bachelor's only to do a PhD. In most cases, there's a slight difference between the UK style and the American style. In the American style, you have to take courses for your PhD for the first, couple of years or thereabout, and then you start your research. In the UK, research day one. So if you are coming with, for example, bachelor's, and you have a 2-1 or even a first class, in most cases, your supervisor will recommend certain courses for you to take just to help you, in the way to getting your PhD done. It's just to make life a bit easier for you. So they will say, okay, take these courses, maybe 1 or 2, because they are relevant to the degree you want to do. Yes, some universities might take 2-1, but Edinburgh, from bachelor's, it has to be a first class, preferably.
Okay. I think that's, well, if we should clarify that that's for PhD, going to PhD, because there are some who are working in some organizations that would want to just do MSc for the sake of their organization.
For MSc, that requirement is not there. Okay, every university, if you apply, they will tell you the minimum entry requirement. You should pay attention to that. Pay very good attention to the minimum entry requirement if that is your situation. I want to sound a note of caution because of what is going around. Please, and please, and please, if you're looking to get admission to a UK university, do not pay agents without doing your own groundwork first. Don't just believe, I'm going to pay X, Y, and Z and they will apply for me. That is foolish. Make your own education count. Take the step yourself. Go to the university you are interested in, go to the admission page, read very carefully their minimum entry requirement. If you are unsure, there will always be a contact detail there. Email them and they will get back to you on what you need. Don't go blindfolded. We are seeing a lot of Nigerians in the UK suffering because of, they didn't do, or perhaps they got the wrong impression, they got the wrong information. They come into the country, everything boomerangs. It's unpleasant. It's very, very demoralizing to see. You open the news, it's about Nigerian students, and, the ones that are happening recently, not very, very great news. You understand? So please, if that's what you want to do, fantastic, but pay attention to what is involved in that process, particularly when it comes to the finances, okay?
Is there an existing platform for young graduates to interact with practicing engineers? Are there paper publishing bodies that are free to support young graduates to publish?
Well, what I can say is in terms of interaction, I think NSE Manchester branch is a prime example. So yes, there are platforms to interact. You just have to get involved. It requires some commitment, yes. So that is possible. When it comes to publishing, your best bet is to have an affiliation with a university. There are platforms, traditionally, you don't pay to publish in certain journals. That's the traditional way. Some other journals, you have to pay with what we call the processing fee, you understand? But not all of them are like that. So if you affiliate yourself with a university, your supervisor there or your mentor in that institution will be able to guide you. Yes, you can publish without paying the publication fee in the traditional journals.
This one is a software developer.
Okay.
software engineer. He has HND in computer science and has been working in the industry for over 5 years. And then he's looking for an opportunity to do MSc in the UK on scholarship. What are the requirements?
Right. So, to be frank, MSc scholarships are very rare in this day. That is the truth. There are some, but they're very, very rare. And the few that are available are extremely competitive. So if you've got HND and 5-year experience, it depends on any software engineering. So you really have to make yourself very competitive. That is the truth. We have some in Edinburgh for masters, and those are scholarships, bestowed on the university by MasterCard. I was part of the team when it first started, but I'm not part of the team anymore. So we have some scholarships like that, like MasterCard. They're called MasterCard Foundation, I think. They give particularly to Africans. All right. So you might want to look that up. It's not just Edinburgh, a number of other universities across the globe. They are part of that. So you can get scholarship for that. You can also look at things like Commonwealth scholarship. They do, a few masters, predominantly PhD, but they do have masters occasionally. So you have to look at things like that. You wouldn't look at the university for such things. I guess you have to look at external organizations to get scholarship to do masters.
All right. I had 3.7 in my first degree, chemical engineering, and then a master's in the same chemical engineering, but I had, I think, an average of 60%. And he's working presently, he's doing internship in petroleum engineering. Is it possible for me to get PhD scholarship with my achievement?
Well, 3.7 out of, I'm guessing, is that out of 4 or out of 5? It depends. If it's Nigerian system, probably out of 5. So that was
from the name and then the platform, it should be from Nigerian University.
So that's probably 3.7 out of 5. So that would be a 2-1, I'm guessing. So that's fine. That's fantastic. And you've got MSc, 60%, that's also fine. In the UK, that will class as merit, 60%. So that's also fine. So you've got the ingredients there, So it's now a case of looking for a research organization that has position that you can apply for and be competitive. It's as simple as that. It's about being competitive. You've got the minimum entry requirement, but you have to be competitive. So if you get an opportunity to go for interview, you really have to prep for that. Make sure you're on your toes all through to get it. So minimum requirement, I think that's fine.
All right. Olufemi, Olushiya. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. I'm sorry. Can you ask your question, please?
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm really pleased to be part of this meeting today, and I've learned so much. Particularly, I felt like this was meant for me because when I was hearing that I shouldn't allow ego step in when I already have the capacity and the capital, which I know what I'm worth. I got that as a very strong point. So my question is this: now I am in a situation where I have to pick from 2 options. I applied for a managerial role in an FMCG, which I have actually gotten that job and I've been given an offer. Now I tried resigning from my current job, and my manager is saying that he doesn't want me to go because I am a very good hand of his, and then I should rather go and ask for a raise, which I could not object to. I asked for a raise, and then the management is yet to respond. I am sure that if the management responds, they might not be able to pay as much as I will be earning over there, and might not give me the outright managerial role that I'll be getting at the other side. But to be very sincere, I would like to mention the name so that maybe you'll be able to guide me better. The place I currently work is the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals. and I'm a maintenance man, engineer here right now. And I am sure that to get to the managerial role, it will take about 4 steps. But from here now, I have gotten a managerial role in flour mills of Nigeria, which the offer letter is with me. So I really need insight and I need to be guided. That's why I asked the questions. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you so much. And congratulations. I think that's fantastic. I think you are the man in demand from what you said. That is very great to hear. That is really, really, really encouraging. So thank you, thank you for sharing that with us. I think, well done. That's what I would say, first of all. I think you need to take some time off and don't be beclouded by the two of them. You understand? Take some time off. It could be an evening to look at, if you stay with Dangote Petroleum, what has the place got to offer you? Are there opportunity to develop yourself? Let's assume they don't give you the money. Is there anything else that you can get from there, opportunity-wise, that will benefit you and your career goal? Do that analysis and then do the same thing for the flour mills opportunity. They've given me this opportunity. I've got it. It's a bird in hand. But go back to them and say, beyond this position, what's next? What are the opportunities to grow beyond the offer you've given me? Is it a dead end that you go there and that's it? You can't move anymore. You can't go anywhere else. You've got certain worth now, and that is what flour mills are seeing in you that they want to pay for. Once you move to flour mills, you get more opportunities to add to your current worth. You need to be sure of that. You see what I mean? So those are the things, unfortunately, I can't do that for you. I don't think anyone can do. You really have to sit down and examine each one of them critically, irrespective of what your manager is saying. Your manager will say what is best for your manager. Your manager wouldn't want to leave a capable hand in his team. So get that clear. So you have to, completely ignore that. Remember, if Dangote, the organization you are in now, if, for example, they run into trouble and they want to lay off, they wouldn't care about you. They do what is best for the business. Therefore, on this occasion, you have to be selfish and do what is best for you and for your own career goal. Make no mistake. Go away, take some time and look at the pros and cons of each one of them. And I'm sure you come to a fantastic decision. Both of them, both opportunities, they look enticing. So I'm sure you come to the best one for yourself. If you want to talk, go find somebody outside of your organization, that is closer to you over there. Say, hey, uncle, boss, whatever, can I take 10 minutes of your time? I just want to run something through you, and then see what they have to say. You understand? Somebody that you trust that's got a bit more experience than yourself. So I think that is the way I'm going to approach it. I give an example, if it helps, in my personal situation. When I finished my PhD, I had 4 offers on the table. One of them was to join Shell Petroleum, huge salary. You understand? One of them was to join another university in the south of England, Bath University. One of them was to stay at Northumbria, and one of them was to come to Edinburgh. You can imagine that amount of headache. You understand? Go to the industry and huge. But I had to make a decision. What do I want? Forget the money. What is my own passion? What is my own ambition? You understand? When you sleep at night, what is it? I say, oh, I think I've done well. I'm happy with myself. You understand? And I think you have to consider all of those. You really have to. And once you've made your decision, you know what? Don't look back. Stick with it. That is your decision. And go back to my last slide. You really have to be content with yourself. Whatever decision you've made, stick with it. That is it. You have to be happy and go on with your decision. So I wish you the very best.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm very grateful. This is a very good work. God bless you, sir.
Excellent. Thank you, and thank you very much, Professor Wasiu, for this wonderful presentation. And I also want to thank everybody who has made it to this opportunity today. On behalf of our team, we wish to hand you over to the branch chairman, who is going to do official vote of thanks. And let me just mention, if you've not dropped your email, And then please write your name the way you would want it on the attendance certificate that we're going to issue. Please write it exactly the way you're going to want it. Please drop that on the chat area. So thank you. And then don't forget to join us for another session like this last Friday of June. I'm bringing another professor as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much to everybody. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. That's fantastic. I've been getting quite a lot of, apart from what's on the chat, I've been getting personal messages on WhatsApp saying this has been a very, very useful session. And even to myself, I think I've learned quite a lot of new things, which I think has will stay with me. And I believe everyone else has learned something new. In fact, even our patron has said this is superb. So I must actually say that out. Yeah, it's been very, very useful. While we were on, we had some senior engineers joining us. I would just want to take some time to recognize them. Engineer Ahmed Mohamed, our Assistant Technical Secretary. Just stay prepared. You'll give the vote of thanks on behalf of the branch. Engineer Yopele Beredugo. I know he was on, one of our great engineers. I don't know him in person, but I know he's really well respected within the NSE.
Baba is over 90.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Over 90. Yeah.
Yes, and very active, and he's always joining, always interested in learning new things. And I've also seen his contribution on some of the NSE WhatsApp groups as well. I think we also have engineer Abdullahi Masood.
Thank you for recognizing me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I'm happy to join you, and I've learned quite a bit. Knowledge is not age bound.
Absolutely, sir.
You learn at all ages, and I have learned quite a lot from today's lecture. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And also, I think just to mention, I was on for your Inside the Arena, which was done by engineer Ben Osioko, and quite a lot of valuable lessons from engineer Yopele Beredugo. So if you missed it, watch that repeat. Yeah, thank you for joining us, sir. I think we also have one of our esteemed past guest speaker here, engineer Abdullahi Masood. I don't know if he's still on. Okay, I'm not sure if he's still on. Engineer, I think Professor Abdullahi Masood, based in Saudi Arabia. Thanks for joining us. Engineer Abdul Rashid Babalola, always there to support us. I don't know if he's still on as well. Engineer Dr. Abdul Rashid Babalola, thank you for joining us. And
thank you, my chairman. It's nice to be here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We also have Engineer Dr. Oluseun Adediran, the immediate past chairman of Glasgow branch. I know he was on. In fact, he sent me a message before the session started saying he wasn't going to miss this. So thank you so much for joining us. Those are all I could actually see. Apologies if I missed anyone out. I want to thank all our ESCO members once again. I know you might all be disappearing off as soon as the vote of thanks is done. So let me quickly call Dr. Abila. He was actually struggling to get on earlier. Dr. Habila, I don't know if you have one or two words to say, although engineer Dr. Ogbonnaya came to the rescue by speaking on behalf of the branch. Dr. Abila.
Yeah, good evening, Chairman. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So as usual, we are back again. I think last year we had this special event. So I would I think that's also the wish of the committee members that will have minimum of triple of the those that will attend. I think there's much more we can learn if we are in person. And I tell you, last year giving me opportunity to learn a lot and also to meet people that ordinarily I wouldn't have met them. So I would encourage people to practice and to prepare to attend this great. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you so much, Engineer Dr. Habila Momijan. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would now, let me see. Okay, I will now hand over to Engineer Ahmed Mohamed, our Assistant Technical Secretary, to give the vote of thanks. Engineer Ahmed Mohamed, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, on behalf of everyone present, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Professor Wasiu for the insightful and engagement talk on academic navigation in today's world. Your expertise and perspectives have shed light on the complexity and opportunity within modern academic. You have provided us with valuable strategies to effectively navigate our educational journeys and career. Your advice will undoubtedly resonate us. Thank you for taking the time to share your knowledge and experience with us. Your contribution has made this event truly enriching. Thank you once again.
All right, thank you so much, Engineer Ahmed Mohamed, our Assistant Technical Secretary. And thank you so much to everyone. And most importantly, thank you to our guest speaker. This has actually been very, very informative and useful, as I've earlier said. So we can stay back for about 15 minutes more. That will take us on to about 7:30 UK time. If you, just for networking, getting to know ourselves, I think this could actually replace our general meeting, because at the end of the day, the general meeting is for us to network, to get to know ourselves more, and to be able to collaborate to do greater things. I would want to officially end by using our slogan in NSE Manchester: together we can achieve greatness. Thank you, everyone. If you have anything to say, feedback, or you could just raise up your hand and we'll be able to take it in that order. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chairman. I think this has been very well organized. I think, you know, the branch deserves a lot of kudos for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prof. And we'll be inviting you to our event on the 16th of July. If you can make it, the NSE president will be around. Our acting High Commissioner, Dr. Cyprian, Ambassador Dr. Cyprian Tessa Hin, has also confirmed he'll be here in person. Councillor Bren, one of the leaders within the Greater Manchester region, would also be there. And our own Councillor Professor Erima Bell, which some of us who attended last year would know, they will all be there. I think it will be a great opportunity to network with the NSE Manchester community and stakeholders. So to get involved, get in touch with us. The flyers will be out over the weekend. and we'll be able to share it widely. Please connect with us on our social media handles to get to know more about our programs and what we do. So thank you so much, Prof. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think I'm free to leave now, I guess.
Yes, you can leave now.
Yes, please. Yes.
You can leave.
Thank you so very much,
Thank
Professor.
you so very much. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
Thank you, sir. All right, then. So all the best to the ESCOs and everyone.
All right. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay.
On the parting shot, great event.
Great. Oh,
great.
Wow. Great.
Yeah, great.
Thank you very much, sir. That's good. That's good. That's
Thank
good.
you. I was around there 79, 85.
I see. Okay, so
Yeah.
before you became OAU, so Great Effect. Yes.
Yeah, great.
There's just only one Great Effect.
There's only one. Any other one is a counterfeit.
It's a counterfeit, exactly. OAU, Oba, one university.
Oba, university.
Apologies to every other person on the call. Sorry. T2 Great Effects, backward day, it's always fun,
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, I'll take your number from
Kelvin.
our chairman, yeah.
Yes. Kevin asked my number, and please, let's keep in touch, sir.
Yeah, I will. And I'll also give you to Professor Wasiu in case he doesn't have it.
Yes.
Let you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. And
thank you, Prof.
Yeah.
Thank you. So for anyone that wants to speak, you can raise up your hand, and we'll be able to allow you speak. I can't see any hand up now, so. Do we have anyone that would want to say anything or ask any question or give a feedback or a comment or? Okay, yeah, go ahead, Samson Aregbeshola.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah, it has been a very interesting evening that I've learned a lot of things from our dear professor and from all the questions that's been raised. I just want to ask, just like I made aware to the secretary that I was an active member of an NSE altar. In fact, one of the partner members at NSE altar before I relocated to Manchester last year. So I would like to see in what capacity that are available that I can also be part of NSE Manchester to give my input to network and to see how we can be part of the society, in a well. I mean, to be well grounded with NSE Manchester. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. Are you currently on our WhatsApp group?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay. Yes. So if you let I think what we'll do is if you let us know what your interests are, obviously we need more volunteers for a lot of things we do, and that's one of the best ways to get engaged. Let's know what your interests are, and then we'll be able to get you onto a committee or onto a volunteer role, or that will